now, almost live. I think we're live. I think we're live. And
I
if we're not live, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Welcome, everybody. Hey, welcome our 215 meeting. Before I say anything else, happy 4th of July to everybody. Notice I'm wearing red and my hair is white. And, but I'm not feeling blue. So there you have it. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Just remember, this is Thinking Out Loud with Friends. And if you have anything to say, please feel free to say it. And remember one thing, and one thing more importantly, that everything you say is an opinion. So anything you hear today, do your own research, and we'll talk about what's ever on anybody's mind. I have a few things that I want to cover, but number one, and this is something really cool. Next week, Tom Durr from Allen and Heath is coming in to talk about the Allen and Heath line. So if you have any questions, write them down and save them for next week, and invite your friends if anybody's interested in knowing about what's going on in the Allen and Heath world. Then that's what I have to say to you. And I said it. So who wants to say something? Who's here? Who's happy? What's going on? Happy 4th of July. Anybody have any plans?
plans for Fourth of July. No, I just got my traveling done. I went up to Kansas City and back. Got back on July 1st, and flying was awful. Tampa through Atlanta. It was
mobbed. I'm guessing it was mobbed everywhere you went.
Yeah, it was. I could escape to the Sky Clubs though, so
I got one question for you. I got one question about that. When you were going and somebody said to you, "Hey, where are you going?" Did you start breaking into song? I'm going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come.
I said, I'm going to my family reunion. There were 80 of us. It was great. So
wow.
Wait, did you say 80? 80?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of family.
Yeah, and I was the fourth of the.
So the song didn't even pop into your mind? I'm going to Kansas City? Didn't even pop into your mind at all?
No.
Did you eat any ribs? Did you eat any ribs?
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact.
Oh, good. Because I was about to say you're a communist.
I went to
there you go.
The Union 39. That's evidently the hottest spot right now. I used to go to Slap Your Mama's, but barbecue.
Slap Your Mama's, but you're no longer a violent man. I got it. You're no longer a violent man, so you didn't go.
Listen, the other thing I wanted to say is Fred should now be nominated. He posted something for the engineer with the most screens. His gig at what was Europa you were working at?
I did one Europa and one what's the other one? Concom?
UEFA?
No, the other one. The Concom or Conf?
Oh, Copa.
Copa. That's what it was, Copa. What a shitty mix I got from those people. Terrible. Terrible. It was like a crowd mix that was slammed up against the limiter, so it sounded like a helicopter all day. This crowd that heard nothing on the field. It was terrible. The Europa one came in 5-1 surround. You heard stuff on the field. You heard the crowd. It was beautiful. But, man, that second game, it was terrible.
But I saw the photo that you posted, and it was like the desk here, the screens from it. That was a Lao, right?
No, that was a Calrec, and it was all rental gear. It was a Calrec and two 60-inch monitors that were cut into multi-viewers. So it wasn't really a lot of. It looked like a lot of screens, but it wasn't really a lot of screens.
Oh.
It was a multi-viewer.
Oh, okay.
And that probably was the most screens I've ever had in an audio booth. But it was It was literally just sitting on a table. I went up and leaned on the console. The first day I was there, I was standing there talking to my friend. I leaned on the console. I almost knocked the whole thing down. It was literally just built. I mean, there was wires coming out of the ceiling. It was literally just thrown in there for this soccer thing, and then they're going to take it all back out. It was all rental gear. So,
Fox production then.
yeah, it was down in the vault at Fox Studios. So the vault is a place downstairs where it's just rows of counter space, and normally the graphics people or the EVS people go down there, but this time it was all dark, except at the very end there was like a storage room, and they put a wall in, and they put two Calrecs back to back. So it was ACR 901 and ACR 902 audio control room. And I was in 901 for 18 hours. So
Wow.
it will be
Speaking
a
of
good
being
paycheck.
in 18 hours and Greg wearing that Artemis hat, what the hell is going on up in space?
Well,
What is happening?
I don't know. No, I honestly don't know what Boeing is going to do with their Starliner.
Is it still
Nobody
stuck there?
knows. Yep.
Oh, jeez.
And so they're going to have a conference after, it's kind of like, after another part of our lives, our political part of our lives, they're going to have a conference after the holidays, and we'll see what happens and what they say.
Well, I'm not aware of anything going on. Is there some kind of malfunction up there?
Yeah. After they docked or during docking, they found a problem with some of the thrusters. I think 5. There's 28 thrusters on the Starliner capsule. 5 are malfunctioning. They, and you kind of need these functioning so that you get the right angle when you
come back
through the atmosphere. Yeah. Either you skip off or you become
or you roll over and burn up.
Yeah. You're one of those marshmallows that you drop into the fire.
Exactly.
Make it spores.
So yeah, they had these helium leaks, Kenny, before they left. I mean, there was
but helium.
The launch was delayed.
Yeah, what I was going to say. Sorry to interrupt you, Fred. The helium leaks are one thing. They are independent from the thruster leaks.
I was told that the thrusters run on helium.
And I said that, and I was incorrect, and I got spanked this week for saying
Really?
that.
Do you have a video of that, Greg?
One person.
Hey, Greg, if you want to share that video, come on, now's the time. When you got spanked, man. I love it.
No, one person on LinkedIn saw the video, and I got a very terse phone call.
Well, it's not
going to never
be
be the same after that. Hey,
not going to matter if the thrusters don't work when the door plugs all blow out.
Yeah. Different divisions. So, hey, listen, you're flying Alaskan Air every other week, Kurt. So
twice a week.
Yeah. So I would be making
it's almost all Bombardiers. It's I haven't been on any Boeing planes on these little short flights.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And what they're saying right now is all this turbulent business up in the sky. They say it's because of the global warming or the climate change thing. Is that, look what's going on. Is it hot where you guys are?
It's going to be 103 in Bend when I get there this weekend. And the turbulence is crazy coming in and out of Bend every time now. Every time.
Yeah.
It was, did you see in the news, somebody, I don't know where they were coming from, but they were stuck in the ceiling.
Yeah.
There was so much turbulence. People don't have their seatbelts on, and they dropped like this. And some guy was stuck in the ceiling of a double wide aircraft.
Yeah. That was it. They had to land in Brazil, so it must have been in South America.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the flight to Uruguay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
109 outside right now here in Arizona.
It's
so
65.
It's a dry heat, though.
I'm looking at my house in Vegas right now. The inside of the house is 94 degrees. I have no idea what it's like, but I mean, this heat wave is pretty big. And what's going on in the islands over there, Jamaica and
Jamaica
Haiti,
just got hit by Burrow.
Aruba.
Yeah. 109 sustained, mile an hour sustained winds from 3 p.m. to just before we went on the air. You know,
Yeah.
God help those people. They got hit bad. So that bodes
Yeah, I've got some
bad
friends there.
for the rest of Florida, you know,
Yeah.
and the Caribbean. You know, I hope Puerto Rico doesn't get another Ian. So
Yeah, well, it's the earliest hurricane they've had, and it's
For
one of
Cat
the most
5,
powerful.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Who's the lurker with the phone logo?
Oh, that's Don Hartley. He's in rehearsal.
111 in Vegas.
111. Yeah, so my house is 194. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy hot. I mean,
Jan,
here in Thailand, it's hot too.
All your collectible little music men that you used to show off, they're all gonna melt.
They're going to be melted. They're definitely melted.
Absolutely not. They're
Forget-
right here
forget-
with me, right
and
here.
forget about-
you know,
forget
when
about
I
that.
travel, I don't leave my band behind. Are you kidding?
Forget
what kind
about
of,
the
what kind of
chocolate
band
collection.
leader you think I would be if I left them back there? No.
But the chocolate collection
What about-
is history.
What about your tour jacket?
Well, the tour jackets, I'm sure that they're fine. I have them in a very secure, air-conditioned vault, but only that is biometric. The only way I can get in is through. I have to look at, you know. So
Well,
yeah, that's
you
about the
do
size
it.
of it.
That's where they
You
keep
have me
the,
on the list.
that's where they keep the questions for Karnak in Funk and Wagnall's.
Yeah, dictionary.
Speaking
What's
of
that?
melted, I ordered my wife a couple of women's 50 one-a-day gummies, 2 bottles from Amazon. They delivered them at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, packed in ice. When I got home at 3 o'clock, the ice was melted all over my desk, and the bottles of gummies were single gummies because they completely melted, and the bottles were laying on their side. So you tip the bottle up, and the bottle would fall over because there was one gummy that was all stuck to the side.
Well, I guess you have to pull out your X-Acto knife and make them edible
cheese
again.
grater.
It's like when they do Siamese twins operations. You need to
Exactly.
separate the Siamese twins.
Yeah, well, they're not. There's nothing left of it. It's just liquid.
Just
It's just.
You use a cheese grater. Just shave off the.
Put them in the freezer and just break off chunks.
Yeah, well, I threw them away.
Well,
what a shame.
I love the way you guys are throwing this out. You know, we use the AI companion here to summarize the meeting. We are really putting it to the test now. That's for sure. I sent everybody that. You know, I know I was supposed to send a link for something, but I couldn't remember what the link was for. I didn't make any notes about what I was supposed to send. Does anybody remember the link I was supposed to send?
No, I had a missed delivery of my one-a-day gummies too. So, you know, I'm out. You know.
Well, you're
Yeah.
probably doing more than one a day.
How are the shows going in Bend there, Kurt?
Oh, great. Everything's been really good.
Did I see
They're
that
looking
you used
good,
the
man.
gamble
The
for
pictures are
somebody
looking good.
in Bend?
Yeah.
Who was that for?
What was his name? A really good old school R&B kind of dude. Lee Fields.
Oh,
Yeah,
and who was the opening for?
Charlie Crockett, country singer, who actually is like the great grandson of Davy Crockett.
Oh my.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty good. It was like legit old school country kind of.
So Crockett had his own stuff, but Lee did not.
Had a little tiny 12 fader Allen Heath.
Well, how about that?
Could have fit his console in the doghouse of my console.
By the way, speaking of Alan Heath, because I know you weren't here when we started talking about this, Tom Durr is going to be in next week. So if you have any Alan Heath questions, would be good. The other thing I will say is that the streaming started after we started recording. So just remember, everything you hear today is an opinion. Welcome to Thinking Out Loud with Friends. This is our 215th meeting. And once again, everything you hear today is an opinion. So do your own research. Welcome, everybody, again. Okay, here we go. By the way, which is, this is crazy. Our YouTube subscriptions are rising. We're up to 414 subscribers. That's unbelievable. That's amazing. My personal account only has 87 87 people subscribing. I don't know why, but that's it. By the way, Chris, are you going
why?
to a James?
Chris got a haircut.
Well, I was just thinking that maybe he's going to a James Dean reunion film contest or something like that.
There it is.
I like it.
That or Superman. Yeah. So
I love it, man. I love it.
He's the reason why you have 414 YouTube followers.
I was going to say, Fred, a couple episodes ago, because you just took over and it
Fred was
one
most
of the best
eloquent
that we ever had.
Definitely most eloquent ever.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's got the highest ratings of any of the shows we've done.
Yeah, it just took a bottle of vodka.
Even beats the Michael Strickland shows, where he became the authority on COVID. But I guess.
Oh man, oh Lord. So, Kurt, can I ask you a question, please, sir?
Certainly.
What are you using for a monitor desk when you're using the gamble up front? And are you just doing a straight split, or?
We use a RAM latch analog split, and typically we'll use a SC48 or I've got a set of Midas HD96s parked there, but we haven't really used them much.
Okay.
So it's not like you have it's not like you have a Ramsey 840 to totally emulate that era.
No, I do have a Crest LMX 52, and if I was going to emulate that era, I would use that. Because that's
I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
It's the Century series. So after they quit making the gambles, they came out with the VX, which was basically Bob Lee's way of trying to make a cost-effective gamble, cheaper parts, and with VCAs, because Jim wouldn't let him use VCAs. And so I have one of those, which is a great desk. I love it. I bought that brand new instead of a 4K because I can't stand the 4K. And then
what's something like that have in terms of buses, monitors?
The LMX, it's built with in-ears in mind because it had just started being the thing. And so it's 22 outs, and you can assign them as their dual concentric pots. So you can make them ascend and ascend, or you can make them ascend and a pan with a switch. And then it has so 16 of those, and then 8 regular like mono.
Holy shit, that's a lot of buses. Wow, that's amazing.
It also has a Ducker built in to the master section that you can assign to any of the groups, and it has ambient microphone inputs, and you can assign it so that it will duck the audience mics with a ratio and threshold control in any of the mixes, so that it will automatically duck the room mics while they're playing, and then they come up between songs.
Oh, how about that? That's an innovative thing.
Also has an external volume pedal control for the cue. So you
interesting.
Use a foot pedal to control your cue edge. It's a great desk, and a built-in. You don't even need a splitter. It has a split in the back of it.
So I nominate that as your monitor desk. Whenever you're using the gamble for front of house, that should be your monitor desk, just to totally emulate the era.
Well, I'm not emulating any era. I'm just using a desk that's better than anything now.
Okay,
you're right.
Sure.
That's an LMX. You're using a Crest LMX?
No. I have one, and I've done it. I have used the two together. My monitor guy at a gig that we had to do everything on wanted to try it. He's like, we should do that too, and I did. And the bands were blown away because all they'd ever heard was like an M32 or something. These bands were kids, They've never even heard an analog console in their in-ears, and they were stunned
about that. So I just want to say, you have a lot of equipment.
Yeah, I have a lot of equipment.
Good for you. Good for you, man. That's amazing.
I have a feeling I'm going to have to get quite a bit more in the next.
You're going to have to steal Jan's name pretty soon. Sound broker.
Well, I'm more like the broker part means something different for me.
Yeah, that's
broker,
right. Well, he doesn't have to steal it.
That's what he means.
He could buy it from me. He could buy it from me. That's it, And what can I say?
He's broker than me, that's for sure.
I'm much broker. I'm going to have to move into a new space and get more stuff. I can see that coming for next year.
That's not a bad problem to have, is it?
That's really good because, that's good. It's really good.
It's not a bad problem, but it is a problem. It's like, yeah, it's great. The growth is awesome, but trying to keep up with it and trying to staff it and trying to finance it all is not always the easiest thing in the world.
I'm going to ask you a question you don't have to answer. But you had, one of your key guy, I remember drove off the overpass.
Yeah.
And have you been able to find someone who's been able to replace him, or are you still stuck in that area?
I think it's more along. Well, if you'd known James, there is no replacing him. But a lot of the other guys that I use have kind of stepped up. So, things that he used to do are being taken care of. But I haven't been able to add like a physical person who, has taken that specific role. No.
Right. So you're not finding it hard to find employees now, or
no, it's impossible
to work on the shows?
Impossible. There's nobody out there, and the older guys want way more money than it's possible to get them, and the younger guys want to start out by mixing the headliner, and they don't have any interest in anything. And I blame kind of the proliferation of all the home studio stuff, because everybody thinks that they're a mix engineer because they do it in their mom's basement. And
right.
And it's really frustrating because they don't want to do the things that actually need to be done.
That's a downside of Pro Tools.
Yeah. And they also think that a day in audio world is 8 hours long. And that's a complete joke. There are no 8-hour days in any gig. Maybe a briefcase corporate every once in a while, but that's about it. So the expectations are difficult to meet or manage. And, it's difficult. Yeah. So no, I'm not having.
I heard a long time ago that no matter what you're doing, even if you're working for someone else, the first 8 hours is for the boss or for the job or whatever it is. And then everything else after that, you're working for yourself, to better yourself and make more money and learn more skills and everything else like that. But I'm hearing such horrible stories about the young generation, how they don't want to work and they're happy living in their parents' basement or their spare room and have no desire at all to work.
Well, there's some. I mean, I'm not going to go all the way to the blanket statement of that, but it's not easy to find people. I'm sure that, Ken Porter's going to echo my sentiments. It's very difficult to find people that have the right combination of skills and the work ethic and can be around the client without you having to be paranoid about every little thing they're going to say or do. It's not an easy role to fill, and it's getting harder and harder to do it. The other thing is the flow of information is so awful and so delayed these days that I'm not finding out what I'm supposed to do or bring or provide or anything from some of these acts until like a week before the show. And if they want like an S6L, there are hardly any in this region at all. Like, it's not something you can get.
Right.
Well, there's one I know that I sold into a club. What was it called? The Alley or the Crocodile Club. They have an SL. They have an SL 500.
You can't get that. It's just, they can't take that out. They need it.
Oh, how's that club doing? Is it busy?
Yeah, from what I know. I mean, I got some friends that work there. It seems to be doing fine. I thought you put a SSL in there or something.
I did.
No, I'm saying S6L. Nobody's asking for an S6.
Oh, an S6. Oh, an S6L.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just sold one of those too. It's yeah, they're hard to come by right now because everybody's holding on to them. Although there are the new ones, but they're very expensive.
Those are the new
We just got a new listing for an Avid S6L today.
Yeah, not going there because in 2 years it's not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Well, Ken Porter must have a few of them
what do you mean
sitting
by
around.
that, Kurt?
I would venture to guess, based on what I see and what I hear, that Abbott won't be in the live sound business in 2 years.
That's the impression I get also, but I get the opposite impression from Mr. Scoville.
Well, he's
Mr.
no longer with them.
Scoville works for EAW now.
I know, but he's tied to that desk, and he's planning on using that desk. What did he say? Till he dies or something, right?
Well, part of the problem is that they've gone to the subscription where they want you to pay $3,600 a year for the right to call them for any service, to buy parts, to use their software and all that stuff there.
Yeah.
And people are getting really tired of it.
It's being run by, portfolio managers and investment group people. It's not an audio company. It's a portfolio. And they own every aspect of motion picture and television production, to the point where live audio is kind of like a annoying waste of time, I think, for them, and the ROI
Is
probably
that
not
right? Avid is very prevalent in the motion picture industry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, for editing software, man, they're huge.
Oh, even the scoring stages and the consoles, and TV
We're
production.
talking about video or audio.
Both.
Both.
Oh,
They're big with Pro Tools.
Yeah, I mean, Avid is one huge company, okay? And so, if you're at the top, you're going to say, okay, what division has made me the most money? And you go down and say, hey, we're building this piece of hardware, and we're making all this money from software that really doesn't cost me a lot. Let's reevaluate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any hard data. This is just the vibe I get, and
it feels like it just feels like that's the.
Why do you get rid of the guy?
Lines.
Why do you get rid of the guy who essentially put you on the map in the live audio business if you're not going to continue down that road?
No, you're right.
And there were no new products or even mentions of new products for the live audio market at NAMM. They didn't even have a live audio display.
And they had
that will be very interesting if they get out of the live sound market, but yet they have consoles that could be useful. I'm just saying, I'm just saying that'll be interesting if they get out of the live sound market, but having been in it so deeply for many years, and then they'll also be making consoles that are totally useful for live sound, but they're geared towards studio work, right?
Yeah, but they're not going to be built to travel. They're not. They're built to sit in a control room. They're not built.
So it's gonna become a niche, whatever that word is, product, right? If somebody really wants, like if Sully wants to keep using his S6L, he'll keep using it and until it's totally, falls apart or something.
Right. But even Robert has said that those were disposable. That whole, and again, I don't like to quote people, but my understanding is that those.
But remember, hold on, I'm going to stop you.
It's just an impression.
Everything you say, and whatever you say here is an opinion. It's not. You got to do your own research. So you're entitled to your own business.
I
understand the impression you got from somebody, but
yes, my understanding is that the philosophy behind the design of those products is that they are not supposed to be used for a long time. You're supposed to get your ROI
planned obsolescence
pretty quickly, and it's going to go away. And they're not going to continually update them and upgrade them and support them. They're going to expect you to basically throw them away in 4 or 5 years and get the next one.
You're talking about studio consoles?
No, I'm talking about the live sound consoles.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, basically, to boil it down, I kind of am of the same opinion. I don't expect a S7L.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think there will be a follow up to the S6L. I think that's
there might be an S7 studio version. Is that what we're saying?
That's not it's the C series, I believe, is what the studio stuff.
All right.
Well, having said that, there might not have been an S6L had they not lost the patent for their drive engine for the profile. I mean, basically, that's my understanding is that they no longer had the patent for the technology of the card that was driving the profile. So they had to come up with something else. But they might not be motivated this time around to do something like that.
What I'm saying, the S6L is certainly a step above the profiles. I mean, even I would.
It's amazing.
There, but
I've used them, and Kurt, I never want to touch a venue or a profile ever again. They were a pain. They were a pain in the butt. They were wonderful, great idea, but after as a console hopper, being on an S6L, it was just, and basically it's time alignment. That's
the whole thing. Is it's the next step. It's obviously the next step for them.
Right.
I just don't expect that there'll be a step after that in the live.
I agree.
Well, somebody told me this, and I heard this from a very reliable source, but I am not going to mention their names. But that the most profitable division of Avid is their live sound division.
No, not even remotely close.
No, that's the most profitable. It may not be the most generating of cash, but it is their most profitable division.
I mean, in terms of percentage,
very high up. Yeah, I've heard that from very high up people.
So if they make 50% profit on live sound, but they only sell $200,000 worth of product per year, they probably just don't care about it.
No, they. Desk is a quarter. You could spend $250,000 on a desk. To put it in accounting words, they have a high EBITDA on live. That's earning before taxes and something else.
Greg, I love when you talk technical. Oh my God.
But they gain more revenue on all the other divisions. I mean, I've heard over and over from people in the live sound division of Avid that said, we're like this, and everything else is like that.
Right, that's what.
Well, they have the video division. I hear is their biggest, the biggest money generating division is their video, but that's out of my league because I don't. It's all that's professional video, from my understanding.
But here's the thing: going on to saying, Avid is required to produce their earning and income statements. To like Jan says, do your own research, read it. And it tells what division makes, that's part of their quarterly reports.
Right. Anyway, Chris, what's going on with you? What do you want to add to this? So are you going to the James Dean Film Festival? Is that what happened?
Was not even aware that there was one, but, maybe I'll show up.
Yeah, so tell me about the haircut. What happened?
Not much, it's just more like I've just got, water in my hair, but I can do the Clark Kent look here with the glasses. I think
it looks good. Now that you put the glasses on, I didn't recognize you. Now I see, without, I mean, it always blew my mind how you had to suspend your complete reality when you were watching Superman, and then nobody could recognize him because he was wearing glasses.
He probably caught
those people were stupid.
Probably caught his hair on something when he was underneath the car fixing the gas tank, so he had to get cut to.
You want to hear a really great one? So I'm driving back to U-Haul, returning a trailer, and I get low pressure on a tire. So I go back, look at the tire. You can see the wood screw in the tire. So I got the gear to fix this, but I don't have the time. Drop the trailer, go to a tire shop, and the guy's like, "Yeah, it'll be done in a half an hour." Like an hour and a half later, I'm like, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, the lug nut is seized inside of the mag lock." And I said, "Well, did you use my mag lock key, which I left in the front seat?" And he said, "No, we used the master key because, we don't want to use your key. We have a master key." So the guy basically holds up the mag lock key. You can see the lug nut sitting in it. And he says, "Well, that was when we took it off, so we could put it back on, and that'll probably get the mag lock off." I'm like, "Yeah, right, mate." And then and the lug nut will be on forever, right? Until you get somebody that wants to carve it up and turn it and get it off. So yeah, anyway.
That's one of the best renditions of the Shaggy dog story I've ever heard. Nope, not so shaggy, you know.
Yeah, and then my computer story is that my first ever computer was connecting to a PDP 1170 on an acoustic coupler. So you would like dial the phone for the modem, and then you would take the handset and put it in to an acoustic coupler, and we had a whopping 300 baud. And that was it, man. And then we would type in Pascal and basic programs, and there we are. And then a couple of years later, we got the first Apples were out.
I just threw one of those away the other day. I found one of those in a case. It was the telephone and the handset holder and everything was all in a case.
Here's
should have given it to a museum, Fred.
Sorry?
I know, we should have.
Oh no, I think that kind of stuff is not got a lot of work to it. But yeah, we had the first Apple IIs and with like an external disk drive. I remember that, and oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Here's a story for you, Chris. I was working for a company called Ramtech in Sunnyvale, and then we moved to San Jose. We did both the display systems and the software for the NextRad radar system, which we see on TV every day. You know, that's what they show. That software was originally written on a PDP 11.
Wow.
And there is a PDP 11 in a salt mine in southern Nevada that twice a year they have to take the mag tapes that are in storage, go there and prove they can recompile the source code. That is a NOAA requirement.
Okay.
That code was written 50 years ago.
Incredible.
And that's NOAA contracts. So
what's happening, David?
David, are you on the bus or is that a plane you're on? Where are you?
No, it's the tour bus. We're getting ready to leave. That was just George next to me.
Oh yeah, I thought it was. I saw it was the ghost of Glenn Fry.
We're on our way to Flagstaff. We're going to take 2 days to get there. So,
and I'm hoping.
Are you going to stop in there? Are you going to stop in Winslow, Arizona, and hang out on a corner for a second?
That's the wrong direction, Ken. You have to go past Flagstaff.
Damn.
That's Winslow, Arizona, isn't it?
Yeah, Winslow is past Flagstaff. He'd be going to New Mexico.
Freddie,
well, there you have it. A man with direction. I get lost pulling out of my driveway without GPS. That's all, you know.
Freddie, you coming on Friday?
I'm going to try.
Okay.
I'm going to try.
Better hope the AC in the bus doesn't give out.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Yeah, don't jinx it or anything, Kurt. Yeah.
I mean,
by the way, you know, when you
to the hottest part of the country right there.
Yeah.
By the way, when you mentioned buses, you know, being buses, Kurt, you mentioned buses, more buses. You were talking about that console. And then I thought about that picture that I saw of Kenny Chesney's tour with so many trucks and buses. I couldn't believe how big that tour was.
That's just for Scoville screens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's not real?
He only had.
Those trucks and buses are just to carry his front of house stuff.
Did you see the interview that he did? 3 of those trucks are just for the screens. You were telling me about screens earlier, Greg. He's got a lot of screens.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't even have to look locally. He can look up at 60 by 60 and go, oh, a guitar solo. But 28 trucks they have. That's what I think he mentioned. Taylor rolls with 52. Beyonce rolled with 50. So, you know, there we go.
That's a lot of gear, man. That's a lot. I mean, the most of it is the staging. That's for sure. Most of it is the staging. But
And
I want.
video.
Yeah, and well, that's part of the staging, right? Wouldn't you say video is part of the staging?
I think with Metallica, there are several trucks that do nothing but carry ballast for the towers that they fly everything from.
That is insane. But they're empty ballast.
They don't get those
fill up
ballasts
with
locally?
water.
No, because it's so specifically engineered. That thing, it's all hanging from cables, and it's all got to have counterweights that are all very specific. You can't just like hire the local guy to come fill a thing with water with that thing, or people are going to die.
No kidding. So are they filled when they're on the truck?
I'm not sure.
They can't be filled with water. It would be way too heavy.
No. I'm not sure if they're water ballast or if there's something else. Ken might know.
I think they're a steel footprint thing because a lot of them that go into the steel bolt in, except for the tower, so the tower will hold a foot the dispersed weight onto the field.
And then you fill the water tanks that sit on top of it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot of ballast, though. That is a lot of ballast. But that's interesting that they have a design system where they carry their own ballast. Must be a big set.
Well, the other question is on those tours you're talking about is how much is the Tate? How many trucks does all the Tate stuff take up?
Right.
Yeah.
And of course they're leapfrogging. And if you're doing international, you're shipping your steel, your stage, in shipping containers, and screens are screens, lights are lights, and, cohesion or whatever you're using, systems are systems. But,
man, I can't even imagine what the shipping costs must be today to cart that stuff overseas. Oh my God.
I don't think anybody gives a shit. I mean, are you following what's happening with Taylor Swift in London and England? The amount of money that she is generating is more than most countries make in a year. I mean, it's insane how much money she's generating over there. And you can't even get a hotel room now in the city she's playing.
And she's going back in August for 5 more shows, I think I heard. Is that right?
Yeah, she's in Netherlands this week. So, boy,
just boggles my mind. The accounting for that kind of tour is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so much money.
Just think about that, Ken. Holy crap, Claire Global.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that people are not even getting in to see the show, and they're creating their own show outside. But I'm wondering whether they have video screens, or they're basically just getting the overflow of the sound from outside the arena or the stadium. Anybody know about that?
No.
Are they charging admission for those people to hang in the parking lot?
I don't believe so.
For sure.
No, they're not.
I can't imagine that a tour like that. I mean, back in the mid 80s, the Dead would play Berkeley, and they'd set up speakers on the tennis courts next door for all the people who couldn't get in because the venue wasn't that big. But that's not something I can imagine anybody doing now.
Yeah. I am amazed on how. David's trying to speak, but he's breaking up. Yeah, really? Dave, try it again.
I'm doing these things. It's not working.
Wireless is the worst way to do streaming. If you're using Wi-Fi to stream, it's always bad. It is never good.
I'm not cellular. This is cellular. I'm on a phone.
Are you streaming? Yeah, you're streaming.
You were just in between.
You're not hardwired.
David, you were in between towers. Go ahead and say what you were going to say before.
So that we've been listening to Taylor Swift's stories, she's never once has anybody ever mentioned anything for outside the stadium in any. special parking lot thing.
Well, unfortunately, we can't understand what he's
just
saying.
standing
I
outside
can't.
listening. Okay.
What I caught part of it, Jan. He said basically nobody's mentioned that Taylor set up anything outside, and you know, for Live Nation, I was there for the Tampa show, and there wasn't anything outside of Raymond James Stadium. You know, if you weren't lucky enough to be inside the perimeter, you know,
then you were outside, and that's all there is to it. If you weren't inside, you were outside, and there was no two ways about it. And that's just my opinion. But of course, my opinion stinks like everyone else's, so that's why opinions are like assholes. We all have one, and they all stink, no matter what you think. So there you have it. I just wanted to add my 2 cents there. But speaking of 2 cents, and it's really more than 2 cents. It's like when I was younger, I used to watch Fernwood Tonight, and it starred Martin Mull. I barely remember anything other than the name of the show, but I do remember Martin Mull being funny and a musician and a comedian, and he passed away at 80. So I wanted to say R.I.P. man, rest in peace.
Fred Willard also was on that show.
Yeah. You're right. Fred Willard was on that show. That's right. You know, and I think was Fred Willard on WKRP Cincinnati?
No, that was another guy.
Are you sure he wasn't the sales guy?
Yeah, no, he wasn't on.
Herb Tarlek?
Yeah.
No, I don't think
he was on the new WKRP in Cincinnati from 1991 to 1993.
I'm telling you, that show was funny as hell. One of the most funniest shows I've ever seen was the Thanksgiving show.
Yeah,
where they were doing the promotion with turkeys.
I swear I thought they could fly.
You know, and speaking of this, Starbucks. Did you hear what Starbucks is doing? Has anybody tried the new Starbucks drink? It's an energy drink, and it's called the Iced Energy, and it's got 200 milligrams of caffeine in it, which is that's I'm projecting it right now. They will be sued. Somebody will die from drinking that much caffeine. You know,
what could possibly go wrong?
Panera got sued for their oh man, I got fireworks going on outside. I'm 2 blocks from the Dunedin Stadium where the Toronto Blue Jays play, and fireworks are just going off. My dog's going crazy, so I apologize for all the background noise.
No, we don't hear any of it. You have noise cancellation on, so we don't hear any of it. Thank you so much for being so considerate for us.
Greg, did you say that you worked for Rambo for a while? Ramtech?
Yes, I did.
What did you do for them?
I was a senior technical engineer, and then I moved over to I was the sales engineer. So yeah, I mean,
when was this?
1983, 1982, 1981. We had a satellite imaging product called Terrain, and remember the Oakland, the fire in Oakland that caught everything on all the eucalyptus trees on fire. Yeah, we were imaging at 5 different altitudes because NASA Ames is right there. And
I must have misheard you, because I thought you were talking about like Ramtech, like the Ram Latch splitter guys.
Oh no! RAMTEK.
Oh, okay.
Not TEC.
All right, because I got a lot of that stuff, but I don't have any of the satellite imaging stuff.
Right. Did you help that guy? By the way, there was somebody online who, the guy who bought that console in San Diego. He,
in my shop. He's in my shop right now, working on it as we speak.
Okay.
I'm giving him a place to do it and some guidance.
Yeah.
It's mint. It was in a recording truck. It's never even been in the sun. It's the most mint one I've ever seen. It's killing me that I didn't buy it myself.
What console is that?
It's Gamble EX56 number 50.
How about that? And it was in a recording truck, huh?
This guy, from what I understand from this guy, the guy that bought it, who's a church guy up here, this guy bought this console and built a recording truck because he was going to go and archive all of these old folk and blues musicians that couldn't like get out anymore. And the plan was that he would drive the truck to where they were and like run cable into their living room or their porch or wherever they were and record them and archive it all. And they were going to make a whole series and release these records. And the Gamble was the console inside, and it had splits built into the side and bolts and all this other stuff. And it was all in a truck. And something along the lines of, I think he did like 2 or 3 sessions. And then the guy who was doing this whole project, I believe, got hit. Not his truck, but he got hit by like a truck, like run over by a truck, and was like messed up for life so bad that he couldn't really ever function again to do this stuff. So he built the whole truck. He did like 2 gigs with it, and it sat for 25 years in his backyard. And the thing is,
but he was saying though that the Ramtech connectors were like non-standard.
They're not actually RAM. They look like it, but they're something else. They're some kind of other. He found out what it is, and Entertainment Metals can repackage the whole thing if he wants to, and but it's going to cost.
Aren't they RAM latch?
Right, that's the standard. That's what I've got a whole bunch of.
Latch is the standard, okay.
But it's a QL is what it is, and I believe it was actually originally built to download flight data from fighter jets when AMP did it. That's what it came from. But it got repurposed. Guys like Ultrasound and those guys, when you had to make things out of military spec surplus, to make your multi-pins and everything, they kind of pioneered that, I believe. And then Lawrence Rambo got the patent, or got the rights to it, the molds, and that's where it all sort of turned into the Ramtech thing. And all the old dudes call them a QL.
I've seen them on some trucks that I've worked on over the years. They call them a RAM latch because you get 56. I think it's 56 channels.
52. Well, 56
channels. 56 channels in a snake.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them. I've got tons of that stuff.
It was cool because it was just like a. It was like
QL
for a breaker
or a quick latch, right?
Yeah.
And so, do you have a picture of one, Kurt, or could you get one for next time?
Oh, I could find one in a second.
And AMP made them. They made a bunch of different modules for them, other than just the straight pins. You could do other things on it too. So, and it was a zero insertion thing that they had. That's why you hooked it in, and then it inserted the pins through the lever.
Yeah, you can't bend the pin really. Like with a mass connector, you can mess that up in a hurry. So
So then the is it a square? The outer shell square or rectangular?
Rectangular.
I'll grab it.
Is it the kind where you slip it on and then you latch it?
Or, it's like I don't know. It's like 1.5 inches wide by maybe almost 3 inches long.
Right.
Long.
Well, the ones
I'm pretty sure I've used that, but
they had 4 different modules or 3 or 4 different modules positions in it.
Right. Yeah, there were quadrants. There was 4 quadrants in the connector.
A1 Audio used A1 Audio used a version similar to that, but let me blow it up. Hold on, keep it there.
Yeah, that's kind of.
That's it. If you're seeing a RAM latch, that's it.
Yeah, I guess that is it.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold flashing pins in that.
It is a lot of pins
in that lever. You have to mate the connector to the panel mount, and then you can't move that lever unless it's in the right position. And that whole pin block, when you pull the lever back, the whole pin block slides backwards.
Right. Yeah, so that the pins are never in danger.
No, and then there's a cover that goes over it.
Yeah.
But there must be a reason why it didn't catch on as much as like a Whirlwind or a Saka or
It's
Veeam.
caught on. It's a huge industry standard.
It's
in that era.
It did catch on, Jan. It's just that the cable was so damn heavy.
No, they're still making them and they're still using them. I see them all the time. I see them with two.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I've got tons.
How many pins? How many pins in that connector?
150.
Yeah, 56 times 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't
Ken,
this
what do
an
you use?
ethanol
What kind
connector?
of what?
It wasn't
Hey,
amp.
isn't
It wasn't
an
ethanol.
ethanol
It was
connector?
amp brand was the one
Oh,
that A1 had.
A1 Audio. Yeah, A1 Audio used those on the 50.
But not quite that exact same one, David. The one that A1 Audio used was square shell for one thing.
So that's probably what this guy's got. I've got them at the shop. Yeah, they're square. They're not like this. They're square, and it's much bigger.
A little bit bigger, yeah, like a half an inch or 3/4 of an inch wider.
By the way, if I remember correctly, A1 made a proprietary because Forrest is that's one of his jobs was to build those cables.
Yeah, but it wasn't proprietary. It was an amp brand connector with 150 some pins because it was 50 pair cable they used with it, and it was what they chose to compete with the RAM latch. But they chose the wrong thing because it was not a standard at all. The only company that used it was A1 Audio.
Yeah, this is a standard. And like on the back of the Gamble, so this is what you have. You have, you don't need a fan out. You can plug that. This is what I just did last week. You plug that in and it's direct to your 56 channels. There's no XLR fan out. You can use one, but you don't have to. And then all the tie lines are these too. So you have that on the back of your rack. And when you mate that with the 25-foot RAM to RAM, you get all of your connections done.
I see.
I've never had one fail, but I've had mass connectors fail.
Is
Ken
that
Porter,
a single
what do you
cable,
use?
or are you using two cables to make 56?
No,
RAM latch, the RAM
the Gamble has the first 52. No, first 56 are on one, and then there's another port to get like 57 through 64. I think that you can soft patch with TT cables. And then the tie lines are 48. They're short loaded, so they're 48 channel tie lines. So I have one that goes into the desk, and then there's 3 tie line ports. I use 2 of them.
Right. So Ken, what do you use?
Well, I had amp. I had the amp CPC connectors, little stuff through the 80s, and the amp RAM latch. And then in early 90s, in like 91, 92, when they decided that it wasn't enough money keep the RAM latch going on. Also, the issue was all gray and it had the 4 modules. It also had a plastic handle and that little rotating thing. Sometimes if someone wasn't careful with it, they'd break it.
Yeah.
So you had to deal with that. But at the time,
that's for the stage boxes.
What?
The CPCs are for the stage boxes. They're 12 channels.
Yeah, CPCs. I use them for interconnect, the amp racks, and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And some had gold pins, they kept trying to sell those foreign pins that didn't hold a lot of, connections. I went to the sign for all the interconnect stuff, the 16 pair sign. And then they couldn't get any more amp latch from amp. And RAM latch hadn't bought them yet. So at that time I was stuck going into the 4 because I needed, the Whirlwind.
Well, in Entertainment Metals, I'm not sure if Lawrence is still doing it, but Entertainment Metals group in Florida they do it and they do a great job. I've got a bunch of theirs. I got like 6 of these splitters. And
so do they make the pins or does AMP still make the pins for them?
I have no idea.
I think they're.
Does anybody use Rapco at all or Horizon?
Sure. I use their Roadhog mic cables.
There's a source in Winter Haven. It's called Skycraft Surplus.
Yep, I've been there.
Yep, you know.
The best thing you get there, if you're there, look for those little rubberized metal cable ties that basically with screw you put in racks and you can hold stuff down in a rack.
Yeah.
They had thousands of them, bought a huge box full of them for like $2.
Yeah. It's one of the best. I mean, if any of y'all are down in the Orlando area, make the trek to Skycraft. Yeah, I mean, they've been there for, oh gosh.
Is that an order, Greg? Are you making that an order? Attention,
No,
everyone.
all I'm saying
you will go there.
No, just you'll be happy if you did. Just put it that way.
Would you be happier going
look
there
at the
or
time.
going to Disneyland?
I'm gonna have to go, you guys. But great talking to you, and keep up the Ramlatch stories. I love that shit.
What do you got? What's so important for you? What do you got to feed the dog? Is that it?
I got to feed myself and Cheryl, and maybe a dog or two, maybe a cat or two, also. So,
how's the rental house?
Before you go, can I ask
okay.
you one thing? Are you having a party at your house tomorrow?
Yes.
Because I'm flying in and I didn't get my invitation.
Well, you're just always invited. You should know that. You don't know the address, but you're invited.
There you go. That's the way to keep it. Keep me on the up and up. All right. By the way,
I just got a security thing that's urgent in my inbox. So they're basically saying that the shopping app called Temu, Temu, has some very gnarly spyware embedded in it, and it should be uninstalled.
Well, I don't have that in my computer. But you know what? Ticketmaster got clipped. I mean, I was reading about it that Live Nation Ticketmaster, they were hacked. They would sell 500,000. I mean, they lost their whole database. Is that what I'm reading here?
Yeah.
A group of hackers claims it accessed the personal information of more than 560 million Ticketmaster customers.
That was right after.
Insane.
2 days later, the government sued them.
Yep. Yeah, they filed a lawsuit against them, basically a successful antitrust lawsuit. All has to do because of Taylor Swift tickets that the congressman couldn't get the tickets for their own family. And because of that.
No.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Ticketmaster owns events. They own, Live Nation owns venues. They own the ticketing, and it's if you tick off, if you're an artist, I don't care how big you are, and you tick off Ticketmaster, you're not going to be playing. Your venues are limited.
If you look through all the companies listed with the government, they have management companies, they have a lot of booking agents, stuff like that. So they have too much vertical.
Yeah.
But
they need to split up, just like, and they're going to make more money. Yeah, it's how look back to how Union Oil got split up into.
How about Ma Bell?
How about AT&T?
Exactly, Ma Bell.
That's the big one.
Yeah,
Ma Bell is no longer Ma Bell. It's now, whatever it is. But
exactly.
it's meet the new boss, same as the old boss. To quote the Who.
Who?
Keeping it. Who? Yeah, right. Who?
Not the Hoople?
By the way, before we say goodbye to the people out there, I wanted to say, if you think America's bad with with legislation and that, Denmark just passed the law that they're going to tax gassy cows and pigs on a carbon tax. So just want you to know, that's because I guess they say that the biggest polluters of the air are cows and pigs. They pollute the air more than anything else. They add more carbon to the air than anything else that we have, even cars and trucks. So,
methane.
I will just say one other thing to that. On July 1st, the state of Florida has enacted a law that you can be fined $500 for letting your helium balloon go. It's called balloon littering.
Well, those helium balloons are bad and they're dangerous. They're bad and dangerous, and they make you sound.
That's why you should only use the paper ones that you light on fire when it's all dry out and there's fire hazards everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you have it.
That's a
but
good
anyway,
the other
I want to
reason is
recommend. Look in the. I want you to look in the chat. All right. I want you to look in the chat. I'll say one more thing, and I'll let you guys go rampant. But one more thing, I want to get this in, and I'll talk about this next week too. There's this guy named Richard Turner. Anybody know who he is? He's a blind card mechanic. Basically, blew my mind. Very motivational. I threw the link in the chat. He's a little hokey as well, but man, this guy is brilliant. If you like card manipulation, this guy, he's flawless and he's blind. Richard Turner, I threw the link in the chat.
I saw your post. Yeah. I saw your Facebook post. Yeah.
I couldn't stop watching this guy. I mean, he was captivating. Some of his stories, drone on a little bit, but he's, but the life that he had, how with the bad luck that this guy had in his life, and yet he continued and became he's like one of the top card mechanics in the world. He's never gotten the fame that he deserves, I guess, because he rambles on too much. But the reality is he's also a motivational speaker. So, take a listen. You'll like it. You'll like his tricks. If you like card magic, this guy's brilliant. Anyway, the other thing, customer service notice, public service notice. Ford is recalling more than 500,000 F-150s. That's, of course, the most popular vehicle out there, the most popular truck, because all of a sudden it'll suddenly downshift to first gear. I thought I would share that. And next week I'm going to share a link that David Dansky sent me about Tim Conway's sketch on Carol Burnett, which is about microphones, the ultimate mic fail, and it's hilarious. So I'll share that next week. And now talk whatever you want, and we'll stay on live for a little while, and then we'll stay in the room. Remember, you make it happen. And so who else has something they want to say?
I was just going to ask Ken what he's up to.
Yes, what are you up to?
Well, we prepped 7 board groups, went out this week. One arena tour, one arena shed tour, and a couple one-off shows, and a church corporate convention out the door this week. So yeah, we've been busy the week.
Well, next time someone asks you what you're up to, say 5'10". It's much easier. It's a quicker answer.
5'11".
Oh, 5'11". You've made it. You've made it. That's the average size of a baseball player. They don't go up to 6. They usually stay at 5'11". So,
I'm gonna go because I gotta go home and I got everything closed up. I'll see you guys.
I noticed that the interesting thing was when we started, it was daylight, and I saw the beautiful trees outside your window of your office, and now it's dark. So go home.
All right,
go home, make some dinner. What are you having for dinner tonight? Have you planned it out that far?
Nope. I'll go see what's left because I'm leaving town Saturday, so I gotta clean the refrigerator out.
It's too late for Kurt to FedEx you something. Sorry about that. Next time, plan it in advance.
The problem is Kurt's too far from the FedEx hub.
Hey, remember to like the show, share the show, click the like button, do all that stuff. Anybody else have anything to say? We'll stay in the room. I want to talk about my computer needs, from somebody who knows what they're talking about other than me. So stay in with the room so we could talk about computer. And with that in mind, remember, you make it happen. Have a great 4th of July. We'll see you next week. Remember, next week, Tom Durr from Allen and Heath will be on the panel with us, talking about Allen and Heath and what's up and what's new and what's exciting. So if you have any questions, that's the time to bring it to them. Share that with your friends. Let anybody know who's interested in Allen and Heath come and join us. And remember, stay safe, stay healthy. And until then, we will see you again next week. Same time, same place. And with that in mind, let me see if I can figure out a get off line. Okay, I figured it out. See you guys later. Bye-bye now. Stay in the room. We'll keep talking. We'll keep chatting. We'll keep it going, And if you want to join us, remember, Yeah, I know. I just wanted to, I forgot to say, hey, look, if you want to join us, send any one of us a DM and we'll send you the link, or DM us on Facebook. And with that, we're off the air.
Nope.